Welcome to Fireside Giants. My name is Alex with my co-host here, Anthony Rivardo. And today we want to talk about this Kadarius Toney situation, a little bit of this physically unable to perform list and what that means with a couple of players landing on it to start training camp and, the preseason as we're only a couple of weeks really from preseason and the regular season taking place in September. But is this something to be concerned about? Are these players, guys that have long-term injuries? Should we be worried? What is the status on them being activated and returning to the team in terms of physical participation during training camp? These are all questions that we need to be considering right now. But, Anthony, before we dive into it, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing real good. I'm excited. Training camp is finally here. Super excited to kick things off, basically. And, we do have a list of players who are injured. And, of course, we have some Kadarius Toney news to talk about. Nothing positive once again. But I think it's going to be another mountain out of molehill situation. So I guess I'm ready to dive into it and discuss Toney and these injured players.
Yeah, with Kadarius Toney, this is one of the biggest storylines of the past month. Of course, when he first came to the Giants during rookie minicamp, we have a situation where he, can't find the right cleats, the equipment issues, little nicks and knacks, injury concerns, and then, he leaves practice early one day for a family emergency, and people are kind of like, okay, what's going on here? This is not the best way to start your career. And then, of course, if you watch his Instagram story, it's mostly just him with his, really fancy cars and diamond teeth and rapping, which is fine. I don't really give a crap about any of that stuff. But people are raising concerns about his maturity. Is he at that level? And then he shows up to minicamp or to rookie, to training camp. But the rookies reported on Wednesday. He shows up and suddenly he has COVID. Another wrench to throw into the mix. And I think at this point we have to just view all of these as anomalies, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, him getting COVID has anything to do with anything except for the fact that he got COVID. Anyone can get COVID at any given time. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time to get it, and it happens. I don't know if he's vaccinated or not, but the reality is he has it. That's not something he did. It's not like he went and shot up a freaking store. It's not like he did anything wrong. No, he didn't do anything illegal. He hasn't done anything illegal. So I'm not really worried about the maturity concern because nothing he's done has really raised any red flags to me. The equipment issue is the equipment manager's fault. Leaving, practice early due to a family emergency is totally reasonable if Joe Judge signed off on it, which he clearly did. Getting COVID, anyone could get it. I know many people that have gotten COVID. Just an absolute worst timing for him to get it. On the bright side, no, of course, prayers up to him in the first place to recover fully and make this recovery and return to the team fully healthy. But on the bright side, he'll be immune to it for pretty much the entire regular season, so we don't have to worry about him getting it in a few weeks, in a few months. He'll be a guy that we can depend on. Now, I do know that you can get COVID multiple times, but it's very unlikely after you've gotten it. So, I feel pretty confident that he'll be good to go moving forward. That's the only bright side. Apparently, he's asymptomatic. He's not feeling anything, Anthony, in terms of symptoms. So, when you're talking about this Kadarius Toney situation, are you worried, or is this, some red flags popping up that you might be a little bit concerned about?
No, I don't think that someone getting sick, someone getting COVID is a red flag. That is no indictment on their character. That's just bad luck, and it sucks that he's had a string of bad luck series. Of course, he didn't show up to voluntary workouts, and he was also dealing with a personal matter at the time. That was excused from one of the mandatory practices. He was dealing with a personal matter, which is my theory. Of course, none of us know this. It's speculation, but I believe whatever personal matter he was dealing with that got him excused from that practice also was the reason that he wasn't showing up to the voluntary practices. That's what I think, but I don't know that for sure. Either way, they were voluntary practices. He didn't have to be there. It's not like he's skipping class, right? He's got voluntary training programs that he's just not going to. And I know we want to see all of our rookies, show that they're committed and be there, but unfortunately not all of them are just going to show up to everything. And I don't think it's a huge deal. I do understand why there's cause for concern about that, but I do not understand why there's cause for concern about him getting COVID. I think that's completely unrelated to his character. And, of course, the cleats thing, that wasn't even his fault. That was the Giants' fault. That was the Giants' training staff fault. They didn't give him the proper cleats, and that could have caused an injury. And didn't he have some calf tightness or something? Could have been caused by the fact that they gave him the improper cleats. Again, that's not Kadarius Toney's fault. So, I don't know. It's just a string of bad luck moments with him, and it's all going to snowball into this giant, snowman where people try and make him out to be some bad person or uncommitted, football player. But I don't think it is any of that. And unfortunately, now he has COVID. So prayers are up to him. I hope that he does recover and he has no long-term side effects, because we've seen how COVID can affect some of these NFL athletes. A lot of them have had some pretty bad side effects that have kept them sidelined or made it difficult for them to return to football. So hopefully he is vaccinated. So if he, does have COVID, or he does have COVID, but hopefully he doesn't have bad symptoms and it's just, asymptomatic. But I don't know, man. Again, like I said, this seems like a mountain out of a molehill with some of these Giants fans. They want to take every little thing that Kadarius Toney does and just blow it up beyond proportions. He tweeted yesterday, minor setback. Remember that? I believe that's exactly what this is. It's a minor setback. He'll miss football for 2 weeks. He'll come back. He'll practice. He'll be there for training camp. We'll see him play in the preseason, and it'll be exciting. And we'll have our first-round pick on the field in 2 weeks, I think.
Well, that's the hope. Hopefully he returns and, there's no other alternative issues and whatnot. And I think that will be the case as well. But let's talk about some of these other players. Of course, we have, the PUP list, which is this interesting physically unable to perform list. A lot of players start on it. Consider this. Leonard Williams started on the PUP list last year and nothing happened. He was totally fine, had a breakout season. This is not to be concerned about. The guys that are starting on that list are Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Harrison, Matt Pert, Kyle Rudolph, Ocean Ximenez, and Aaron Robinson. Now, we know the Barkley injury is the knee. We know Jonathan Harrison had a hamstring. We know Kyle Rudolph has a foot injury. Ximenez, I thought it was shoulder, but he has a hamstring injury. And Robinson has a core muscle injury. Now, the one that really interested me the most is the Matt Pert back injury. Now, is that because of last season's thing? Definitely possible. It just kind of rolls over. So I think any of these guys can be activated at any single moment. And once they do return on Wednesday, was it next Tuesday? Next Tuesday, right? All the players will be reporting next Tuesday, or the rest of the players at least. I think they'll activate the majority of them, including Pert, Harrison, Robinson, and Ximenez, because I do think that they've all been working out, individually this offseason or with teammates and whatnot. So I know Harrison and Shane Lemieux have been working out together. And I know that Pert and Will Hernandez have been working out together, and Ximenez and Lorenzo Carter have been working out together. So these are all guys that, I've been spending time around one another. I'm pretty sure they're mostly healthy. Maybe a few nicks and knacks there just from working out, but not worried about any of this stuff, guys. They're going to be fine. The PUP list is just really a rollover from last season, and now they'll be able to activate them come Tuesday. But, guys, that's pretty much like the gist of all of this Kadarius Toney and PUP situation, Anthony. What are you thinking about this Matt Pert? Because no one really knew he was there, but it could just be rollover from last season since nobody knew the injury he was dealing with.
I didn't know he was injured. I feel like a lot of Giants fans didn't know he was injured. I've said this multiple times on this podcast. He was set to start the final, I believe, 6 or 8 games of the season. There was a point during the second half of the season where they said, okay, we want Matt Pert to start. Then he was injured, and that's why he didn't start those games, and that's why Cam Fleming stuck it out as the starter. A lot of Giants fans, I feel like, don't know that. Like, he was supposed to be the starter, but he was dealing with a back injury. We didn't know what kind of injury he was dealing with. We just knew he was dealing with an injury. The Giants never put it on their official, injury reports week to week, but that's okay. Now we know what it is. It's a back injury, and we've seen him working out and lifting weights and everything. So I'm assuming that he's healed from this back injury and that this is just rollover and that he's going to be healthy for the start of training camp and absolutely healthy for the start of preseason and the regular season. So I don't think it's anything to be too concerned about. The PUP, it just is what it is. Barkley, obviously, his injury is something to be concerned about. We'll see how he progresses. I think that he'll be ready for the start of the regular season. But him and the Giants have been very secretive over the whole injury in general. And we could probably make a whole separate video on why they might be doing that, why they might be so secretive about that. And I think that they're doing the right thing and being secretive. Aaron Robinson, you didn't mention him. I believe he was training with Logan Ryan, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he was seen doing training exercises. So core muscle, apparently he's, PUP. I don't think it'll be long before he's activated off the list either. I think that all of these guys, Kyle Rudolph as well, I remember when he was signed by the Giants, he did explicitly say, I will miss no football. I will miss not a single snap of football with this injury. So I expect pretty much all of these guys to be activated off the PUP rather soon. Maybe Barkley being the one that stays on it for the longest. But outside of that, I think that they're all pretty close to being healthy. And I'm excited to see, if Matt Pert does come back healthy, if he can beat out Nate Solder for the starting right tackle job, which is something that I absolutely think will happen.
Yeah, and then that plays into essentially all of the position battles, that will be ensuing with Matt Pert, Nate Solder, Aaron Robinson, Darnay Holmes, Ocean Ximenez, the outside linebacker core. So pretty exciting stuff, guys. That's just, we want to give you a little update today just on the situation of these individual players. What we think about the PUP list, the Kadarius Toney situation, which I think is just a kind of a mosh pit of just anomalies that have occurred. And I think, we shouldn't be too worried about him yet. We haven't even seen him on the field yet. Let's see what he does on the field before we make any judgments about his behind-the-scenes, activities or his lifestyle, whatever it might be. I get why people are worried. I get why people are concerned, but we haven't seen enough to justify any bust narrative or anything. And, that's just the way it is. So, guys, hope you enjoyed this little video. Just want to give you a quick update, 10 minutes on Friday, and then we have the live stream, the charity live stream coming up on Sunday. Make sure to tune in for that. We'll have a bunch of really great guests, and they'll be sharing it as well, including Art Stapleton, Chris the Entertainer, the Fantasy Guy, like tons of people that are going to be offering their opinions and talking Giants with us. So I'm really excited about that, my friends, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.